Today, I want to speak about the art of leaning back and firing at the same time.
The knockout zone.
Not so many boxers utilize this kind of skill, but for those who are able to do it, it pays dividends. Leaning back is the way of avoiding a punch coming from your opponent. Meanwhile, at the same time, you hit them either with the right cross or the left cross or any kind of punch that you find suitable to throw. One thing about leaning back is that you ought to understand that when a boxer throws a punch, he cannot throw it 2 times before bringing it back. So you've got to be very fast. While the boxer throws a punch at you, the next thing that the boxer has to do is to bring it back. He cannot throw it twice going forward. And meanwhile, he is pulling it back. That is when you're firing and you catch him. I'm going to give you an example of a few boxers who utilize that kind of style or attack. It's not even attack, it's defense at the same time attacking. Thomas the Hitman Hands is one of the boxers who was so good in pulling back and throwing at the same time. And you will be able to see this in his fight with Pepino Quavas, where he won the WBA title. He was always leaning back because Pepino Quavas carried a big punch. So Tommy Hands had a strategy of leaning back and firing. And it helped him catch Pepino Quavas on many occasions. And Pepino Quavas was unable to deal with that. So much that at the end of the day, Thomas Hands was able to knock him out. In all cases, you will realize how the opponents were devastated by the punch that hit them when they least expect. Because it's usually at the point where the fighter is attacking and is thinking that I've got this one now. And all of a sudden, boom, and the punch lands on his face. Let us see how Tommy Hands did it against Pepino Quavas.
Right hand lead, sneaky right hand. Bangs the ear again of Quavas. Quavas has got a lot of problems with Thomas. Right hand gets through. Big right hand again. Look at that shot. He's ready to go. He's got him in big trouble. Mr. Doodle having a good look. Tommy not very patient here. He's throwing wild shots but a lot landing. Quavas.
Muhammad Ali, in his famous fight with George Foreman, the Rumble in the Jungle in Zaire, he did the same thing. So many times he pulled back, though his strategy was the rope-a-dope. If you look at it carefully, you would realize that so many times he pulled back and fired. Even though Ali didn't pack a big punch, but he was able to stagger George Foreman with the punches that he threw while he pulled back and fired. So Muhammad Ali is one of those few fighters who are capable of using this strategy. You would see him doing the same thing against Sonny Liston. And at that point, Muhammad Ali was still young and very flexible. He could move around in the ring. And Sonny Liston was a dangerous puncher. And Muhammad Ali had to make sure that each time Sonny Liston puts him in the corner and throws a punch, he would pull back, sometimes just move away, or he would lean back and fire. So that helped him to win the fight as well. Floyd Mayweather is one of those sleek fighters who would run away, move around, but whenever you catch him in the corner and he has nowhere to run to, he would lean back and fire that right cross. And it is so interesting to see how many fighters he was able to catch with that right cross. So Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest fighters who had the ability to lean back and fire. So I believe that if you could practice it, you could as well do it. But you always have to be careful. Be there with your mind in the ring, because one mistake, you can find yourself counting the stars.
And again. This is a different type of right hand. This is a right hand from the Sonny. Mosley, that's not working as well.
Sugar Ray Robinson had it all. One of the examples of a perfect fighter. At some point, he would pull back and fire, but he had all kinds of skills. If you want to know how this is done, you can watch him. Another fighter who was good at doing this was Greg Page. Greg Page, sometimes people associate him with Muhammad Ali. He was a very smart boxer. He could move around in the ring, sometimes doing a little bit of showboating. But Greg Page, one of those sleek heavyweights who would lean back and fire at the same time. Evander Holyfield, other than being a great counterpuncher himself, but he was so good in leaning back and firing. And now I'm going to take you to the fights where these boxers displayed this skill of leaning back and throwing a punch at the same time.
So you really want him with the right hand, he's fast. I love the useful jab.
So fighters, this is another strategy that you can utilize effectively if you learn it and practice it.